So let's talk about Lindsay, Shiver, and Robert Shiver's 20-something-year-old friend and the photos that perhaps launched the Bahamas plot. On Sunday, July 16th, it seemed to be a very busy and pivotal day for Lindsay Shiver and Robert Shiver. First, there was the 911 call Lindsay made that Sunday we listened to, complaining about Robert. Then, 3 cops showed up at the Shiver mansion only for Lindsay to be told it wasn't a good idea to plan to go on vacation with Robert Shiver and their 3 boys. Robert wasn't arrested that morning as Lindsay probably hoped he would be, and Lindsay didn't produce enough evidence of any type of violence that she was alleging. Now we have these photos of a 24 or 25-year-old allegedly taken that same day, that night, ironically at Grabber's Bar, the same location that was robbed, perhaps even that morning, and the same location where Lindsay's boyfriend, Terrence, worked. I initially saw these photos from True Crime Mama. You can find the links to her TikTok and her Facebook pages below. Since I saw the photos from her first, before they even hit the Daily Mail page, I tend to believe True Crime Mama has a lot of insider information from people in Thomasville, Georgia.
Currently, I'm told, okay, everything is an allegation, let me just say that. Except for one thing that's not, that I know for a fact because I've seen proof of it, and I personally know the individual that the photo was sent to, so I know that that is fact, and I'll get to that. Everything else is an allegation. That first of all, Lindsay does have family currently visiting her in the Bahamas. I believe that her mother is currently there with her. Lindsay does have a cell phone, and I'm told that her mother got her a new phone. Lindsay is in contact with certain individuals. She's in contact with, I'm sure, some family members, and I know that she's also in contact with some friends. She is able to speak with her boys through her mother. So I don't know if that means that she is able to call them from her mother's phone or how that really works. I've never been in this situation personally, but she is able to contact them. I am told that she has not been able to speak with them much because the boys are busy with school and other activities.
Now, according to the Daily Mail, it was that same Sunday night when these photos were taken. They could have been the same photos that Lindsay sent a hitman. That's what the DailyMail.com is exclusively revealing, but True Crime Mama is also revealing a bit more, that the woman in the photo, her name is Jordan, and she's about 24 or 25 years old. So we know Lindsay's boyfriend was 28 years old.
The robbery at Grabber's did take place. It occurred early in the morning hours of Sunday, July the 16th, which is the same day that the body cam footage came from. And that by mid-morning that they were investigating this robbery at Grabber's.
The Daily Mail sources are saying that the photos were taken just hours after Robert Shiver, 38 years old, blocked his estranged wife Lindsay from boarding their private plane where she wanted to take just an hour flight to the Bahamas so she could go off and visit her new boyfriend. But with Robert, did he leave the kids with someone and go off and go have a good time that same night? Now I'm believing the rumors we spoke about earlier in this Shiver series, wherein folks from the Bahamas were claiming they had seen Robert hugging or kissing up on other women. Rumors of infidelity on both sides of the marriage, beyond what the mainstream press is reporting, are flying all over social media. We don't know what will come out in the wash. Did Robert really catch Lindsay with some other guy or with Terrence? But we know Lindsay has been accused of plotting with her boyfriend Terrence and his childhood friend Farron Newbold to get rid of Robert. Now we're comparing what Robert was wearing earlier that same day. If it is him that same night, he totally changed clothes, which is very plausible. The body cam video showed Robert wearing like a reddish or pink hat. It had some kind of logo on it, a baby blue shirt, and pink shorts, and white Nike shoes, which might be the same exact Nike shoes that he donned later in the night. They look similar. Robert also seemed to be sporting a similar length, kind of 5 o'clock shadow beard, which lends credence to it could possibly be the same day. He was definitely not wearing a wedding ring, but he is wearing a watch. So from the photos reportedly taken later that night, we can't see if he has on a watch, just because of how they're structured. Who could blame Robert if he did change his clothes? I mean, it was early in the morning, 7 a.m. or so, when that body cam footage was taken in Georgia. And then there would have been a plane ride to the Bahamas, and later that night, by the time the mysterious photos were taken, who could blame Robert for wanting to change into something else? He appears to be wearing a burgundy hat with no logo on it, a black shirt, and colorful swim trunks, maybe Bermuda trunks or shorts or something, and maybe the same Nike shoes.
One source said that Lindsay had only taken 3 girls' trips to the Bahamas over the last year. Another source says that she was taking 70 girls' trips to the Bahamas, that Robert became suspicious. And after that last girls' trip that they took, that after they landed in Thomasville, allegedly he went to one of the homes of one of the women who was on the trip. And that woman spilled a bunch of details to him and allegedly told him that Lindsay would make them leave their wedding rings at home, and that she would sneak out, she would leave at nighttime, and she would not stay there with the rest of the girls at night.
Isn't it ironic that the man who had sent a private investigator to spy on his wife earlier in the year now seems to have someone spying on him that day and surreptitiously taking photos of him? I don't think he knew he was being photographed. But after jetting into Abaco Islands on July 16th, apparently without Lindsay, Robert headed to that local night spot Grabbers where Lindsay's new boyfriend Terrence Adrian Bethel, 28 years old, worked behind the bar. I wonder if Lindsay's boyfriend was working that night, and was he the one that took these photos? You could see Robert has his arm around the woman from the back. On the side photo, people think he's grabbing her armpit, but I think that's really a photo of someone holding their phone and to the side of her. But she seemed content to smile slightly and rest her head near Robert's right shoulder. Apparently, Robert was none the wiser that someone had photographed the rendezvous and sent pictures to his 36-year-old estranged wife, Lindsay. I keep wondering if Robert was there with the woman. Was he trying to make Lindsay jealous? Did he just not care that someone might take photos of him? And when Lindsay got these photos, did it make her blood boil? You know, is that what sent her over the edge and sent her seeking out a hitman? We know the Royal Bahamas Police to the prosecutor said Lindsay sent a photo of Robert to the would-be hitman, Farron, with the words, "Kill him." So was it a joke, or was she dead serious? Let's say if Terrence had sent her these photos, or someone from the bar sent her these photos, she got them, and just to see her husband, you know, out there, arm around another woman, a beautiful, attractive, younger woman, did she go a little nuts, send them off again and say, "Kill him"? The Daily Mail source says these images are most likely the ones that Lindsay sent to the would-be hitman, 29-year-old Farron Newbold, along with the text saying, "Kill him." If that's true, they would represent some pretty poor images to send to a would-be hitman. It seems that Robert wants to be kind of incognito in the photos because his hat is pulled way down. It's almost like he's out there because he's really tall. Of course, people would recognize him. It's like he does care, but he doesn't. We know the 3 of them. Lindsay and her 2 cohorts were arrested only 5 days after that photo. By Friday, after that photo was taken, the cat was out of the bag. Robert knew about the plot to take his life. But the Daily Mail sources are saying that Robert wasn't on some one-on-one romantic date with the woman the night this photo was taken. Apparently he had just joined the woman and her friends for drinks. So I'm sure it got all around what was going on. I'm sure people knew what was going on, and they probably knew Robert would be an eligible bachelor sometime soon. The source said it was spontaneous. The friend was having a farewell, drinks, and just invited Robert. That was just a spur-of-the-moment thing where Robert was invited, so it wasn't like he was necessarily dating this woman one-on-one specifically and, you know, took her out to show her off to the world. Either way, the source said Lindsay has been openly dating her barman for at least 6 months at this point, so she has no right to throw a temper tantrum. Indeed.
Lindsay and Adrian were allegedly supposed to go to Key West with some other second homeowners from Guanakee. Not Baker's members, but second homeowners outside of Baker's, and that they were supposed to go to Key West and attend an Ernest Hemingway. It's some sort of Hemingway festival, and they have it a contest, a Hemingway look-alike contest, and it is held at. Hang on. Okay, this is the contest. It's an annual event that happens in Key West. Okay, yeah, this is what it's called. It's called Hemingway Days. And it is, this year was July the 18th through the 23rd, which does match up with the dates that she was supposed to be gone. I don't think that someone would just make up that she was supposed to be going to Hemingway lookalike contest. That seems very, very random to me. They could not go to that because Adrian could not get a visa for whatever reason. It was not because of it was not because of prior criminal charges. I do know that. For whatever reason, he couldn't get a visa. So instead, Lindsay was traveling to the Bahamas to see Adrian. I do not know where Lindsay and Adrian were staying while they were there together, because sources say, every source says that Adrian couch surfed. He had been being housed at Grabbers or by Grabbers up until this happened. So maybe she was staying wherever he was staying there. Now, I've had several people say that Lindsay's ex-divorce attorney is a very good, godly Christian woman, and that she would absolutely never allow a client to use the abuse claim in a divorce unless they could prove it to her. But I have also seen many, many people say, and people message me and tell me that that is not true, that this is a tactic that she uses frequently. And another attorney contacted me to let me know that typically the reasoning for this would be to get something called an ex parte hearing. And what that does is when that claim of abuse or fear of violence is made, that the woman can testify before the judge by themselves without the other party present that the spouse is abusive, or that the woman is fearful that the spouse will become violent when they're served the papers. And that typically in this situation, the judge will grant this ex parte, which basically kicks the husband out of the home, and it allows the woman to gain access to the home and to the children. And in some situations, then the woman is able to alienate the children from the father. And that this order typically is for no less than 30 days. It could be longer, but typically it's for no less than 30 days. And that this tactic is beneficial because it allows the woman to gain advantage in the divorce, and it really sets the tone for the divorce. Okay, so that was shared with me by an attorney. I'm not saying that her attorney did this. I'm just saying that there are those allegations. Her next court date in the Bahamas is October the 5th. And the deposition that was supposed to be, the deposition in the divorce that was supposed to occur on July the 18th has been moved to October the 31st at 10 a.m. Like I said, everything that I've said so far are allegations. The only thing that is not an allegation is I do know for a fact that Robert is sending selfies to women he does not know on Snapchat. And I know this because I have a very good personal friend who sent a snap request to Robert, and she was posting on her story, on her snap story, and he responded with a selfie. So I do know that is fact because I have seen it. I do have it, but she asked me not to share it, and I'm respecting that. I'm not going to share that.
Philippians 1:21. For to me, to live is Christ. He is my source of joy, my reason to live. And to die is gain, for I will be with him in eternity. Thank God no one had to die in this case. When you compare it to the Corey Richens case out in Utah, unfortunately her husband had to lose his life for Corey to eventually get arrested. But in Robert's case, I guess the only thing that really died is like the death of a marriage and perhaps the death of freedom if Lindsay and her two conspirators or collaborators, if they end up doing hard time, if they're found guilty. I don't know. Some people do like to say, yes, it is all blown out of proportion. We hear so many different rumors. Everything will have to come out in the wash. It'll come out in court what's really true or not. In the meantime, I am going to request more 911 calls from the home in Thomasville, and if any exist, I will put them in future videos.
Another source said that a cop shared with someone that they frequently are called to the Shiver residence, and they did not say that it was for domestic violence situations. They just said that they are frequently called there, and a lot of times that it's just something as simple as Lindsay heard a strange noise.
I think with more and more info coming out about the Shiver case, until they appear again in October in court, both in the criminal case, Lindsay has her date coming up October 5th, and in the divorce case, reportedly there's an October 31st, wouldn't that be funny, in a weird way, Halloween court date. So as time moves along, we will end up probably seeing more and more photos, just getting more and more info from this case as it moves from rumors to fact. Apparently, Robert seems like he's open to meeting people, and True Crime Mama talks about seeing his selfie that he sent to women on Snapchat just to prove it was him. And who could blame Robert for wanting to meet a good woman and potentially, if he's up for it, maybe get married again someday? With a man going through such a hurtful time, discovering his wife had these deadly plans for him, of course he would want to find a good woman, someone who could step into a role as a bonus mom to their 3 sons and help really raise them, raise them up in the Lord, and just not concoct some murder plot against him. What man wouldn't want that? And as for all of Lindsay's claims about alleged abuse or what have you, the verdict is still out. I mean, True Crime Mama speaks about the attorney, Lindsay's former divorce attorney. We just don't know if Lindsay's claims are ones that were based in reality or ones that were just concocted by Lindsay to make Robert look worse and attempt to move him out of that house and just attempt to take over all the marital possessions, as many as she could, and just keep that private plane that she was accustomed to and the lifestyle and the standards that she was accustomed to. I guess for Lindsay, maybe it was hard to realize how much she had, just how much material possessions she had, how much material things she had, and to lose any of it would have been like a step backward. Even though for many of us, the thought of even taking a private plane trip is something that's goals, something that we're not even used to. So we'll see what goes on with this case and many more. I think people have a tendency to want to talk and want to spread what they know. So information will probably keep coming out about this case. So I'll keep reporting this one, and also I'm researching plenty of other cases, and so we'll see where they go from here. Thank you for watching.